do after I'm not is I'm gonna do my hand hygiene.
Wait a minute. Do I press the red button?
No, it's already going.
Okay.
And then I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a nursing student at the University of South Alabama, and I need to do a neuro assessment on you if that's okay.
All right.
And then it's going to be videoed, and so I need verbal consent. The only people that are going to see it is me and my professors. Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is your appearance. You look clean and well kempt. Your dress is appropriate for the season. You look like you have good hygiene. Your behavior, you're awake, you're alert, your speech has been clear. Are you feeling down or depressed?
No.
No? Okay, if you were to say yes, then what I would do is I have a tool that I can assess you with as far as that goes. So I'm going to check your memory now. So for recent memory, did you eat breakfast this morning?
Yep.
What did you have?
Biscuit.
Okay, and I can confirm that because with him being my patient, I was the one who took him his tray and took the tray up. For your remote memory, who is the president before Biden? Trump, correct. Okay, and so now we are going to move on to some more like thought process information. So if someone was to tell you that something was like looking for a needle in a haystack, what would that mean?
Hard to find.
It was like hard to find, okay? And then where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Working.
Where?
Alvin Power.
Alvin Power, okay? And then say you're driving down the road and you see blue lights behind you, what are you gonna do?
Pull over.
You're gonna pull over, okay, good. And so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check your cranial nerves. And so cranial nerve number 1 is olfactory. And so what I want you to do for me is I want you to just occlude one side of your nose and sniff. Can you do it to the other side? Okay, the motor portion of cranial nerve number 1 is intact. The next thing I need you to do is I want you to close your eyes for me and then occlude one side of your nose again. And I'm going to hold something up to your nose and I want you to tell me if you can smell it and what it is.
Alcohol.
Alcohol pad, good. All right, the other nose, or the other side of your nose.
Minty.
Mint. Okay, so sensory portion of cranial nerve number 1, olfactory, is intact. Cranial nerve number 2 is optic. And so normally what you would do is I would have a Snellen chart on the wall and you would stand 20 feet away from that and I would get you to cover one eye and you would read the lowest line you could, and then I would get you to cover the other one and do the same thing with your glasses on. So if you were to get a 20/50, what that means is at 20 feet, you see what the normal eye can see at 50 feet. But since I don't have a Snellen chart, we're gonna do the handheld, okay? All right, so keep your glasses on, and I want you to put this over one eye, and then I want you to read the lowest line you can for me.
LTFPH.
Okay, and so for that one, you got 20/70, so that means that at 20 feet, you see what everyone else could see at 70 feet. All right, can you do the other eye for me?
CFDHG.
Okay, so for that one, you got 20/25, so that means that at 20 feet, you see what everybody else could see at 25 feet. Okay, so cranial nerve number 2, optic, is intact. Cranial nerve number 3 is going to be oculomotor. And so what I'm going to get you to do for that is I'm going to look at your pupils, engage the size. I would say you were about 4 millimeters bilaterally. They're equal and they're round. And then could you take your glasses off for me? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shine this light in your eye. And I'm going to check to see if that pupil constricts, okay? So they do constrict bilaterally. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shine the light in your eye again. And I'm going to be looking at the other eye to see if it constricts at the same time this one does, okay? Okay, so they do constrict and your other one does consensually constrict as well. The next thing that I'm going to do is I want you to look up there at the top of that cabinet over there. And look back, look at it again. Your pupils do dilate, so that means that they accommodate. The next thing I'm going to do is I want you to follow my finger to your nose, okay? Without moving your head or anything. Okay, so your eyes converge on their axis. You can put your glasses back on. So that means that your pupils are equal, they're round, they're reactive to light, they accommodate, and they converge. All right, so that was cranial nerve number 3, oculomotor, so it's intact. The next thing we're going to check is cranial nerve number 3, 4, and 6. So that's going to be oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens. And so for that one, what I'm going to do is I just want you to follow my finger, and without moving your head, I just want you to follow my finger with just your eyes, okay? Okay, so I didn't see any nystagmus. I did notice that you had parallel tracking, so cranial nerves number 3, 4, and 6, oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens are intact. The next one is going to be, that I'm going to check, it's going to be cranial nerve number 5. That's going to be trigeminal. So for the motor portion of that, I want you to clench your jaw and keep me from pulling down. All right, good. So the motor portion is intact. The next thing I'm going to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to touch your face, and I want you to tell me when you feel it, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yep.
All right, so the sensory portion of your trigeminal nerve, cranial nerve 5, is intact. The next one that I'm going to check is going to be your facial nerve, so that's going to be cranial nerve number 7. So what I want you to do for that one for me is I want you to mimic after me, okay? I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to keep me from pulling them up, okay? All right, you can open your eyes. I want you to smile, frown, puff out your cheeks, and I want you to raise your eyebrows. Okay, the motor portion is intact. The next thing I'm going to do is I want you to close your eyes for me, and I'm going to place something either salty or sweet on the anterior 2/3 of your tongue, and I need you to tell me if it's salty or sweet, okay? Stick your tongue out.
Sweet.
Okay? So cranial nerve number 7, the facial nerve is intact. Cranial nerve number 8 is going to be acoustic. I'm going to stand about 2 feet from you, and I want you to close your eyes and cover one ear, and I'm going to whisper a word, and I want you to tell me what I whisper, okay?
Hunting.
Okay, cover the other one.
Fishing.
Okay, so I didn't notice any high frequency hearing loss. You were able to repeat both words that I said. So cranial nerve number 8, acoustic, is intact. The next ones I'm going to check together. It's going to be cranial nerves 9 and 10, which is glossopharyngeal and vagus. So for those, what I'm going to do is for the sensory portion, I'm going to put something either salty or sweet on the posterior 1/3 of your tongue, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to tell me what it is, okay?
Salty.
Okay. All right, and then for the motor portion of that, what I want you to do is I'm going to get you to open your mouth and say, ah. Put your tongue down a little bit. Say, ah. Okay, and so your uvula did rise on phonation. So the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to stick your tongue out, and I'm going to stimulate your gag reflex, okay?
All right. Okay.
Okay, so motor and sensory portions of cranial nerves 9 and 10, the vagus or the glossopharyngeal and the vagus are intact. Cranial nerve number 11 is spinal accessory. I want you to keep me from pushing your shoulders down, or keep me from pushing your face. All right, so cranial nerve number 11 is intact, and then the last one, cranial nerve number 12, is hypoglossal. And so for hypoglossal, what I want you to do is stick out your tongue. All right, it is midline, it's even. I don't see any deviations. And the next thing I want you to do is I want you to repeat after me. Light.
Light.
Tight.
Tight.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Okay, so I didn't see any issues with that. So cranial nerves number 1 through 12 is intact. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to stand up if you can. Walk that way for me. Just regular. Okay? And And then when you come back this way, I want you to tandem walk, so kind of like you're walking on a line, okay? Okay, I don't see any major swaying, your gait is steady, and so that's intact. So the next thing that I'm going to check, if you want, I'm going to check for the Romberg test. And so what I want you to do is you're just going to kind of stand there with your eyes closed.
Right.
And I'm going to hold my hands out just in case, you know, you were to fall. And I just want you to stand there, okay? For about 20 seconds. Okay? So you have a negative Romberg, which is good, that's normal. And so what that basically means is there was like no major swaying, anything like that. So then the next thing that I'm going to check is your reflexes. So you can sit down again if you want. I'm going to check them bilaterally. And so the first one I'm going to check is your brachial. So I just want you to completely just kind of like relax, let loose, okay? And I'm going to hold down on this brachial tendon. And then I'm going to tap you with this reflex, okay?
No.
Completely let loose. Okay? Then I'm going to do it on this side. And so what I'm looking for is you'll usually have some kind of a jerk or muscle movement here, okay? Okay? Alright, and then the next reflex I'm going to test is going to be your triceps. So I want you to hold your arm like this and just completely let it down, okay? I'm going to tap you back here. Okay? I'm going to do it on this other side. I want you to completely just let it go, okay? Okay? The next one that I'm going to do is going to be your brachial radialis. So I'm going to hold your hands out. I'm going to hold you by both of your thumbs and just completely, again, just relax and let loose, okay? Just let loose, relax. You just jump. Okay? The next reflex that I'm going to check is going to be your patella. So just let your legs just kind of be loose, dangle them off the side. Actually, for this one, I do have to see your knees. So can you take off your shoes and go ahead and take off your socks for me? Alright, and then pull, when you sit back down, just pull your pants legs up just so that I can see your knee. So just completely let your legs relax. Okay, so then the next one I'm going to check is going to be your Achilles. So I want you to dorsiflex this foot, so put it up. And when I strike back here, same thing. So it was like that gas pedal motion. You can pull your pants legs back down if you want. So for all of your reflexes, I will give you a grade of a 2. Which is good, it's in normal limits. Okay, and so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Glasgow-Coma scale. So basically the whole time that we've been doing this, I've been kind of grading you. So with the Glasgow-Coma scale, the lowest that you can score is a 3. The highest that you can score is a 15. Anything 7 or less would be considered in a comatose state. So as far as your speech goes, I give you a 5 for that because you were clear when you spoke, and that's the highest you can get. For your motor response, I'm going to give you a 6. That's the highest you can get because you obeyed all my commands. You listened, you did them in a timely manner, And then, I'm going to give you a 4. So your total coma scale would be a 15.